Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. Then we'll go through the weather warnings, as we do have ice, snow and wind warnings in force, and then we'll have a look at the UKMO Office Run, looking at precipitation and temperature, having a look at the temperatures and of course some snow showers around over the next few days, and then we'll have a look at the longer term forecast with the GFS, ECMWF, GFS and ECMWF Ensembles. So remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow on Twitter as well, the link's in description. Also do check out the channel membership, links in the description. If you do want to help me out, please do go sign up for that. YouTube revenue throughout the early months of the year is pretty terrible post festive season, so if you really do want to help me out, do sign up for that. I will be adding some more exclusive content to that over the next few weeks. I've got some ideas and some plans that I will be implementing over the next few weeks, so do check that out. So we'll start by having a look at what's going to be happening over the next few days for the first half of the video. You can have a look at the live radar at the moment, and you can see in the south we have a few showers around, but generally things are mostly cloudy and temperatures aren't too bad, 9-10 degrees, so pretty mild really. However, if you look towards Northern Ireland, Scottish borders heading into Northern England, you can see a weather front, and this is a cold front that is sinking southwards with the sort of polar air mass behind it. Now, at the moment, the majority of the weather front is falling as rain, but you can see there are some snow, so some blue patches, and that is snow falling over mainly higher ground. And you can see the colder air mass now moving into northern Scotland. These showers turning to snow quite readily inland, especially over higher ground for accumulations, but to low-lying areas as well. There will be some snow over the next few days in Scotland. As this weather front sinks southwards, it's likely we start to see a bit of a colder undercut. So it will mean that some of this, even to low-lying areas, could turn to snow over the course of this evening into tomorrow. No guarantees, but we'll have a look at the UKMO Office Run in a minute, and it is showing falling snow for some potentially in the Midlands. You couldn't even rule out in central southern England. Nothing too major with that, but there could be some flakes coming out of the sky, which is better than nothing. But there could be accumulations over higher ground as this weather front does move through. But of course, it will be weakening as well. Behind that, temperatures are now dropping away, sort of 7 to 10 degrees ahead of the cold front, 2, 3, 4 degrees behind it, and getting to freezing as you head up higher elevations. So chillier conditions are coming this week, with some wintry conditions for some. And if we do have a look at the weather warnings at those wintry conditions, we mainly have warnings over Scotland. But when we have a look at the UKMO Office Run in a minute, I'll highlight where else I do think there could be some wintry hazards as well. So we do have an ice warning today from 3 p.m. until midnight tonight, and that's mainly because we've had that weather front move through. Initially was rain, of course, and now there is some sleety and snowy showers coming along, and of course temperatures will be dropping very quickly as the sun sets, so ice could form. So cold air spreading south across Scotland, bringing wintry showers. Icy stretches are expected to form by late afternoon, so as soon as the sun sets, ice will be forming. Some snow showers are likely, but ice is expected to be the main hazard during the afternoon and evening before snow starts to accumulate overnight and becomes an additional hazard, and that's Tuesday and Wednesday's warning. High likelihood, lower end of the impact, because of course it is precipitation that has already fallen freezing, so will be hazardous where we have seen those showers. Other areas though, having not seen some of these showers around, there will be less ice around. So if you are in northern Scotland or in Scotland in general, even outside of this ice warning, there could be some icy stretches around. The main warnings do come in force on Tuesday and Wednesday for snow and ice, and of course wind as well. This is a very direct northerly wind, at least for a day or two, so there are going to be strong winds around. And if we do have a look at that, very strong winds expected to bring some disruptions through Tuesday, 10 a.m. until midnight tomorrow. Again, 75 to 80 miles per hour potentially, 60 to 70 to exposed coast, 75 to 80 across Orkney and Caithness. So yeah, strong winds around, very likely lower end of the impact scale, but of course if we do see wintry showers mixing with that, we could be seeing maybe some drifting over the higher ground, and of course blizzard conditions within those showers could go from some sunshine to whiteout conditions if we do see those showers. Of course, this is over northern Scotland, so most people watching this video is not going to be impacting you, but of course, I do want to make sure if there are people watching this, they do know there could be some severe impacts over the next few days. Now, if we have a look at Wednesday, we still have that snow and ice warning in force, and we'll have a look at that now. So it's from tomorrow, midnight all the way until Wednesday at 9 a.m. So clearing through Wednesday afternoon as higher pressure topples. So we'll be reducing the showers, but still be pretty cold around. You can see it has been updated because, of course, we had this warning put in force over the weekend. Has been changed to a mix of snow and ice, giving cold air and frequent wintry showers, with the northern Isles removed from this warning. And then the wind has been covered by a separate warning. So you can see showers accompanied by strong winds will become increasingly frequent and wintry through Tuesday at all levels, very specific there, meaning there is wintry hazard to all levels, not just higher ground in Scotland. Below 100 metres, accumulation mostly likely to be temporary within the heavier pulses, of course, and slushy. Above 200 metres, 2 to 5 centimetres likely, with 10 to 15 centimetres possible in higher routes. And again, icy stretches in these showers where they fall asleep to low levels and combination with winds, blizzard conditions. Again, high likelihood, lower impact. Again, these conditions aren't too exceptional for Scotland, but considering the really mild spell we've had over the last week or two, it could come to a bit of a surprise for some. Now, if we do have a look at the UK Met Office run, have a look at the hazards for all over the next 5 days. Now, you can see the cold front sinking southwards, wintry showers behind it, and you can see, as of watching this, it is pretty much very well forecasting it, a little bit beefier in the live radar than it is showing on the forecast, and of course that snow in its back edge just across southern Scotland, northern England is as we're seeing on the radar as at the moment. So it does look like this is pretty well in time with what we're seeing, and you can see over the course of this evening as the sun sets and cold air undercuts it, it will turn to snow quite readily over high ground, over southern Ireland and parts of northern England. In the northwest as well, could be seeing some accumulations tonight, especially when those temperatures falling. Could be seeing accumulations. However, to low-lying areas will mainly be rain. Of course, you can exclude a bit of sleetiness in there as well. However, through the early hours, you see more of it is turning to snow, especially on the back edge, through the Midlands, where we don't have that much high ground. So very much is indicating that even to moderate sort of hills, sort of 100 metres or so, we could be seeing some flakes. Not expecting accumulations by any means, but could be seeing some flakes. And you could wake up on Tuesday morning to a bit of a covering on grassy surfaces on the car, perhaps. But the weather front is weakening, and even into the London area could see a few flakes as well, but it is reducing. But meanwhile, look at northern Scotland. A lot of snow showers packing in. Could be seeing accumulations, and that's why we have those weather warnings in force as well. One other area that we do need to watch is throughout tomorrow, we need to watch the northwest. You can see the main snow shower risk is going to be few in the far southwest, across Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland of course, and in the northwest of England into northern Wales. We're seeing northwesterly winds get funneled down the Cheshire Gap, and we could see a Cheshire streamer. That sort of scenario where we're seeing snow showers sort of packing together. No guarantees with it, of course, because it's all convection based, so it's very difficult to forecast. It's very much better just look at the radar, really, what's going on with that. But the UK Met Office run is indicating the possibility of some frequent showers there. So we could be seeing accumulations there as well, and those continue from Tuesday evening. And as temperatures drop, that's where we could see increased accumulations potentially, and even some to low-lying areas as well. So that's one to watch. No guarantees, but one to watch. And of course, these showers, if they're quite beefy, could drift further inland. So the Midlands and even central southern England could see a few wintry showers, a few flakes. But again, no guarantees, just depends on how beefy those showers do get. Showers continue across northern Scotland, but as we head through early hours of Wednesday, you see all the showers start to reduce as high pressure topples, and then weather fronts start to arrive from the west. Heavy snow on its leading edge, but turning back to rain as we have a milder sector. But beyond that, we go into a polar maritime air mass in from the west, really unstable air mass and pretty cold as well. So we're going to be seeing a lot of showers, and they will be wintry of nature mainly over hills, low-lying areas, of course, overnight as well. And, of course, within the core of showers where we get evaporative cooling, we could be seeing some winteriness, sleet, graupel, hail, snow to low-lying areas. And these showers are going to be quite widespread, mainly in the west, especially across Scotland, Wales, southwest England, northern England and Ireland. But you couldn't rule out, similar with the, sort of the Cheshire Gap streamer we could be seeing over the next few days, we could see those showers drift further eastwards as well. And then eventually, by Saturday, seeing another weather front move in. Again, will be snow on its leading edge, but rain mainly for low-lying areas. Temperatures are going to look pretty chilly over the course of this week. And you can see, as I'm recording this at around 3 p.m, bitterly cold across northern Scotland, negative digits. They're -2, -3 degrees, and even to low-lying areas, 1, 2, 3 degrees. Directly behind the weather front, 2, 3 degrees as well. Ahead of it, though, 7 to 10 degrees quite widely. Of course, for the evening, that weather front is going to be dropping southwards, turning many areas in northern England, Ireland, Scotland below freezing. However, in the south, still 7 or 8 degrees. And eventually, as that weather front moves through the early hours of this morning, all areas will be chilly. Some areas in the far southeast could still wake up to temperatures being maybe 6, 7, 8 degrees. But by midday, all areas in the colder air mass. And I'm not expecting really anywhere to be getting above 4 or 5 degrees tomorrow. By early afternoon, many areas only just above freezing. Central southern England, sort of 2, 3, 4 degrees. So really quite cold compared to what we have. Not bitterly cold by any means, but it will feel definitely much colder than we've had recently. And of course, with the wind chill as well, it'll make it feel closer to freezing. Throughout the evening, Tuesday could be really quite widespread frost as we head through the night. You can see some areas trying to hold above freezing. Of course, that will be because we may have a bit of cloud around. And one thing I do also want to say is that it is going to be quite sunny with the polar maritime air mass coming in from the north. It does bring in much fresher, cleaner air, so we're much less likely to have cloud around, other than when we have showers, of course. So it's going to be sunnier around the next few days, and of course, clear skies overnight, widespread frost across the north, Ireland, and west. Central eastern areas maybe hovering around 1, maybe 2 degrees, depending on cloud amounts, of course. Wednesday's going to be another really quite cold day. Highs of maybe 3, 4, 5 degrees in the far south. Southwest starting to rise as we see milder sector push in, and the north still really cold. Overnight Wednesday into early hours of Thursday, it's going to be the most widespread frost we've had in a good few weeks, really. Ireland, temperatures are rising, and in the far southwest of England, temperatures are rising as well as milder air is moving in. But you can see pretty much everywhere across Scotland, Wales, and England, apart from those real far western areas, are below freezing. Even London is around freezing. So yeah, really cold conditions throughout early hours of Thursday before temperatures slowly rise through Thursday afternoon. But you can see it's just a wedge of milder air. 5 degrees in the far east, 9 to 10 degrees in the west, parts of Wales, southwest England. But then Ireland, down to 4 or 5 degrees again as colder air is moving back in. And by early hours of Friday, once again, another cold night. So these milder sectors we're seeing, they're going to be very brief, maybe 6 to 12 hours of sort of average conditions to above average conditions before it's turning cooler or colder once again. Friday, another chilly day, 3, 4, 5 degrees max. Another overnight frost for Friday, and Saturday, another milder sector is moving in. But early hours of Saturday in the east could still produce quite a harsh frost. So it's looking pretty chilly over the next few days. Might want to get the hat and gloves out and big winter coats out again for many, as it's going to be quite a lot colder than last week. A good 10 degrees in quite a few spots, down from like 14, 15, 16 degrees, down to more like 3, 4, 5 degrees. So yeah, really chilly conditions coming up. So if we now go through the longer term forecast, of course I wanted to concentrate on what's happening over the next few days, because there could be some severe impacts from that, and it's going to be quite a shock for many, going from mild 14, 15 degrees down to 3 or 4 degrees with frosts and wintry showers for some. So I do want to focus on what's happening over the next few days, but we'll have a look at the long term, and you can see that colder air sinking southwards at the moment with that northerly wind. Beyond that, though, we do see that ridge of high pressure try and hold on, but it's getting pushed away by the jet stream. We see a colder westerly pattern move in with colder polar maritime air mass. Now, I've been saying over the last few days the potential for a bit of a Scandinavian high building. We're still seeing the signal for some higher pressure, but it is a minority option. We are definitely seeing westerly winds being sort of the more dominant feature, and it's sort of how this does evolve. We definitely are seeing a higher pressure sort of signal in the longer term, sort of day 7, day 10. But what's happening with that is very, very uncertain. You can see as we enter towards day 7, higher pressure is trying to build up from the south and towards Scandinavia, but it does look like westerly winds will continue. And of course, depending on the exact tilt, it could be mild, could still be chilly. And as we see at the ensembles in a minute, it is very uncertain the exact air mass, but it does look pretty westerly. However, as we head towards day 10, high pressure starts to build in. Now, on this latest GFS run, it tries to get towards Scandinavia, but it just sits over the top of the UK. Not particularly cold in the upper air conditions if we do have a look. Pretty mild, really, but of course we've seen inversion, so temperatures probably mid-single digits, sort of 4, 5, 6 degrees, and around freezing overnight. So nothing too exceptional, but nothing too warm either. You do see, though, high pressure continually tries to get further northwards, but it never quite comes off on this GFS run, and you see another high pressure system try to move towards Greenland, and right towards the end of the run, we do pull in a pretty chilly northerly wind, actually. Quite bitterly cold, actually. A couple of degrees colder than the northerly wind we're getting in the next day or two. As you can see, the -10 lines there, so it's a couple of degrees colder, and of course would again produce very cold conditions, wintry showers around as well, and with quite a big mid-Atlantic ridge. Wouldn't be surprised if this held on for a good couple of days. Again, right towards the end of the run, but it's just this repeating signal of higher pressure in the longer term trying to build in, but it's where it's going to build in is the uncertainty. Models over the last few days have tried to build at Scandinavia. Now the GFS run is trying to build the mid-Atlantic ridge. That high pressure signal is very much there, but where's it going to go is the uncertainty at this stage. Now, if we do have a look at the GM run, see how that does compare again, there's been one of the big models for this Scandinavian high, but as we'll see in this video, it is still showing high pressure signals, but yeah, where it's going is the uncertainty. Beyond that, you can see again, northwesterly winds moving in, pretty chilly air masses, but milder sectors at times. As we towards day 7, it has a go at the Scandinavian high, builds higher pressure, but you can see the jet stream is very strong, and instead we're just centered under higher pressure. Nothing majorly cold, maybe quite mild in the northwest and chilly in the far southeast, where we have that colder easterly flow coming in. And you can see bitterly cold air is just to our east in Eastern Europe and Russia, and all we'd need is a couple of days of easterly winds, and that would start to be brought in. But at the moment, nothing majorly cold is on the cards, just potentially settling it down. As we've both seen the GFS and GM both trying to build higher pressure in, but it's where that high pressure is going, because the jet stream is really strong, trying to keep it flat, but we're seeing this high pressure signal, and how does it evolve, really? Now, if we have a look at the ECMWF, again, it's going for this high pressure scenario in the longer term. We see westerly winds, northwesterly winds, colder air masses moving in, and right towards the longer term, it's very similar to the other runs, building high pressure in, trying to go towards Scandinavia. On this run, though, it's just sitting over the top of the UK, putting in a bit of a slack easterly flow, but mainly actually quite light winds. Will be cold with an inversion, of course, and yeah, we'll have to see how it does develop. Definitely high pressure signal is coming in at day 7 to day 10, but it's where it goes. That is the big thing at the moment. It could just sit over the UK, could stay to our south, bringing in milder southwesterly winds, or it could go to our north, or even to our west, bringing in northerly or easterly winds. So at this stage, it's all up in the air, but at least it's a bit of a change from westerly winds, because I think one thing most people can agree on is sort of westerly winds, even though we're seeing a bit of polar maritime air mass mixing in as the slant is a bit more northwesterly. I definitely think people would agree that westerly winds are not the weather pattern we want to see. We'd rather see higher pressure or colder conditions come in. Even if high pressure isn't particularly cold, it's drier and hopefully be sunny as well if we get the right pattern around. Making things a little bit more pleasant, of course. Now, if we do have a look at the ECMWF Ensembles, run through this quite quickly. Again, they're showing this high pressure signal in the longer term. If we run out to day 7, you can see, again, quite a mixed pattern, but generally, we're seeing high pressure try to build towards Scandinavia, but it doesn't dominate. Mainly, we're seeing a ridge try and build up from the southwest, westerly winds trying to push it over, and it's a bit of a mixed pattern. All these ensemble runs showing a generally similar sort of high pressure, low pressure signal, but where these low pressure, high pressure systems connect can make a big difference in air masses, because, for example, the 5 at the bottom here would be pulling in more of a slack easterly flow, would be colder, whereas these 9 here, even though it's broadly similar where the high pressure, low pressure systems are positioned, the highest bit further southwards and be pulling more of a westerly wind. So it is still very uncertain at day 7, as we'll see with the GFS ensembles, with the air masses as well. Now you can see at day 10, high pressure very firmly trying to take control. All of the ensemble members have high pressure ridging up from the south. 13 only have it getting as far, just getting as far as the UK. Probably still pulling in a bit of a westerly wind, but turning things a little bit more settled. The control run, including this other 13, higher pressure over the top of the UK, maybe a bit of a slack easterly, but generally things quite settled. Another 11 have it slightly further northeast, pulling in a bit more of a slack easterly. Another 10 have it further northwards, again pulling in a bit of a northeasterly. And 4 very much over Scandinavia, and that would be much more of a brisk easterly and probably a lot colder. So high pressure signal is there, but what's happening with it is the uncertainty at this stage. If we go right towards the end of the run, 360 hours to give a look at the scenarios, you can see 45.1% of high pressure in the North Atlantic. Again, would be sort of a northwesterly wind, but we can see a bit of high pressure towards Scandinavia and low pressure towards Europe, which would be more symbolic of a bit of an easterly wind. So a bit of more of a background scenario there. And of course, we wouldn't expect strong signals at this range. So we have to see what happens with that. Another 28 of a lot of low pressure towards Scandinavia. North Atlantic filled with high pressure, and again this would be more of a northwesterly to northerly pattern. We see sort of a scenario where we see generally northwesterly winds with northerly incursions, so pretty chilly and could be wintry, because remember it is end of January or middle to end of January by this stage, where cold air masses to our north are pretty much at their peak for the season. So anytime we get a northerly or northwesterly wind, it's going to be very cold in terms of the upper air conditions, and if we get it sustaining around for a few days, we could see similar conditions to what we're seeing this week, with temperatures low single digits and wintry showers for some. Now, if we do have a look at the GFS Ensembles, have a look at air drift, temperature and precipitation, you can see over the next week or so it's actually pretty chilly up until day 10. Max sort of upper air temperatures we're getting to is around the average for those milder sectors. Most of the time it's going to be below average and could be significantly below average, especially over the next few days with the colder northerly wind, and then we see another polar maritime air mass move in by the end of the week. Towards the weekend and the start of next week, see quite a big milder group of ensemble members. Again, that's another bigger milder sector building in ahead of low pressure. But beyond that is where the uncertainty is at this stage. Quite a lot of spread on the ensemble temperatures, but quite consistent that pressure is going to rise because the precipitation signal is reducing. Of course, we'll have a look at pressure as well, but precipitation signal is reducing. A lot of uncertainty upper air temperatures, some around 5 degrees, 850 HPA, which would be generally mild, temperatures around 9, 10, 11 degrees. Others down to -5 or lower than that. No brutally cold runs at this stage, getting to -10, -15, which would be symbolic of sort of a beast in the east. Not seeing anything like that, but definitely cold enough, -5 to -10, for more widespread winteriness. So a lot of uncertainty beyond sort of 11th, 12th of January, and it all depends on where that high pressure goes. If it does centre over the UK, it could be chilly, seasonable, dry conditions. If it moves further northwards, we could be seeing colder, easterly, northerly incursions, so it'd still be generally drier than average, but could be colder than average. Or we could see it stay to our south, which would be more of a westerly influence, drier in the south, wetter in the north, and we could see an inversion in the south. It's actually colder in the south than in the north. So all different scenarios at this stage, and we'll have to see how it does play out. If we have a look at the sea level pressure, you can see in the longer term very much a signal for higher pressure. So high pressure definitely doesn't look like it's going to be returning towards 11th, 12th January, but in what capacity? That is the uncertainty at this stage. Anyone saying it's going to be just straight up westerlies, doesn't look like that is the case. I've been saying that for a number of days. Although the general pattern is for westerlies, we've got enough other signals that's going to mean it's not going to be a complete westerly fest, not a complete pest from the west pattern. Of course, we've got a northerly wind this week. We see polar maritime northwesterlies coming by the end of the week. Then we do see a general pattern of a few days of low pressure systems coming in off the Atlantic before we head into the start of next week and the middle of next week, where we do have quite a strong signal now for pressure to rise. But as I said, in what capacity and what positioning of that high pressure is going to make all the difference. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.